It wasn't a big mistake. It wasn't reckless. It didn't even seem dangerous. It was one of those small decisions you make without thinking. The kind of decision you've made hundreds of times before. And that's exactly why it was so easy to ruin everything. That night I was tired. Not physically, mentally. The kind of exhaustion that lowers your guard without you noticing. I had just finished a long week, full of pressure, unresolved problems, and uncomfortable silences. All I wanted was to disconnect, even if only for a few hours. I had an important responsibility the next day. Something I couldn't afford to mess up. Something that didn't come with second chances. I knew it. Everyone had told me. I had told myself. But that night, I told myself it didn't matter. A message appeared on my phone. A simple invitation. Nothing extreme. Nothing illegal. Just going out for a bit. Clearing my head. Escaping the stress. I hesitated for a few seconds. I checked the time. I did the mental math. Everything seemed under control. I thought, just for a while. I'll leave early. I've got everything calculated. That was the exact moment I lost. The place felt calm. Dim lights, soft music, people laughing. Nothing felt out of place. I sat down, took a deep breath, and for the first time in days, I felt relief. The stress slowly faded, as if that night had permission to exist without consequences. The problem with feeling comfortable is that it makes you forget what's at stake. Time started moving differently. Minutes felt like seconds. Silent promises broke without resistance. 1 more, 5 more minutes. Almost done. I didn't feel danger. I didn't feel guilt. I didn't feel urgency. Just normality. When I finally checked my phone with real attention, something felt wrong. The time wasn't what I expected. Not even close. A slight pressure hit my chest, but I ignored it. I still believed I could fix it. I stood up fast and walked out. The cold air hit my face like a delayed warning. On the way, I tried to convince myself everything was fine, that I was overreacting, that I had made it just in time before. But that night was different. The trip felt longer than usual. Every red light felt like mockery. Every second moved with cruel precision. This was no longer a small decision. Now it was a race against something that couldn't be negotiated. I arrived late. Not slightly late. Not still acceptable late. Late for real. The place was silent. Too silent. No movement. No margin. No way to fix it with an apology. Everything that depended on me had already happened. The emptiness was immediate and dry. I didn't yell. I didn't hit anything. I didn't beg. Because deep down, I knew there was nothing to say. The explanation didn't matter. The intention didn't matter. Only the result did. The consequences didn't arrive all at once. They came slowly, cold, organized, like pieces falling perfectly into place, forcing me to see the full damage. First came the call, then the short message, then the long silence. What I had built for years started collapsing quietly. No public drama, no heroic second chance, no redemption speech. It just closed. The days that followed felt strange. I walked, talked, worked, but everything felt unreal, like I was watching my own life from the outside. Every time I thought about that night, I couldn't believe how simple it had been. It wasn't tragedy. It was comfort. It wasn't bad luck. It was overconfidence. It wasn't destiny. It was me thinking, it doesn't matter. Over time, I realized the real punishment wasn't losing that specific opportunity. It was losing respect for my own decisions. My internal trust cracked. Every time I said later, a voice reminded me what later had already cost me. That's when I understood something no one ever taught me. Life doesn't fall apart because of big mistakes. It falls apart when you normalize ignoring the warnings. When you confuse calm with control. When you believe you can always fix things afterward. When you tell yourself, just this once. Because just this once always becomes the last time. Today, when I hear someone say they have time, I don't argue. When I hear, I'll do it tomorrow, I don't interrupt. Because I know exactly how that story ends. Not with an explosion, but with an uncomfortable silence that lasts for years. That was the last time I thought, it doesn't matter. Now I know those 4 words are the most dangerous thing you can say to yourself when something important depends on you. Because when something finally does matter, it's already too late to go back. And the worst part isn't the regret. It's the clarity that comes afterward, the moment you realize that nothing and no one stopped you. There was no villain, no accident, no unfair twist. Just a quiet choice made in comfort, followed by a lifetime of remembering how easily everything could have gone differently. If this story resonated with you, if at any moment it felt uncomfortably familiar, consider subscribing. These stories are not meant to entertain for a moment and disappear. They're meant to stay with you, to make you think, and to remind you how easily everything can change with one small decision. More stories like this are coming. Stay with us,